All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, fellow Pandemonium travelers, this is Seattle Pandemonium Shutdown Day 199 by my count. Oh boy. I felt like I didn't necessarily even have anything to say today, but let's just give it a shot. Let's give it a shot here. Yeah, I'm gonna do my 1,000 follower present video and give you some Kyle style backstory, but I wanna get pretty for you first. I need to get a haircut and get a shave, and I don't know, I'm bordering on mental illness and whatnot, so I don't take care of myself. But what's going on today? What's going down? Well, we continue to have Ruth Bader Ginsburg fallout and speculation and wargaming and, Machiavellian political theorizing. Like, Trump's gonna appoint, excuse me. Trump's gonna appoint Amy Coney Barrett. That's one of the potential nominees for Ruth Bader Ginsburg's Supreme Court seat, and I'm seeing conflicting things about. So on the one hand, people think that she's a sort of thoroughly conservative person who will, I don't know, maybe push back on stare decisis. That's let the decision stand. That's like, let's not reform things or change previous rulings, for no reason, like keep the previous rulings. Because she's like a Catholic or something. She's like very, very devout Catholic. She like teaches at Notre Dame, as we would say, college. And I don't know. I mean, it's one thing to say that you want someone on the court who represents your values, and it's another thing to have someone on the court who will maybe violate the Constitution. I mean, they have to rule according to the rules of the Constitution, right? Like, that's the guidelines that they have to try to fit every ruling into. But the wargaming thing is interesting because people are saying, if Trump nominated Rush Limbaugh, for example, to be the Supreme Court nominee, which wouldn't make any sense for a variety of reasons, but let's just say that he did, it would freak people out a lot because people are easily freaked out by Supreme Court stuff because Supreme Court rulings could, like, I don't know, overturn the Civil Rights Act or something. Like, it could be that you get Supreme Court rulings that, like, well, imagine if it was some insanely, I don't know, it's some insane liberal. It's Rachel Maddow, and she wants to rule on abolishing the Second Amendment. Well, if you were going to put somebody like that on the Supreme Court, you would motivate people to get out and vote, specifically in the context we're in right now, where there's this crazy election cycle that's just frighteningly bizarre, and the pivotal nature of it, right? It's a sort of historic moment. If Trump gets to appoint a third justice, because he already appointed Kavanaugh, which was a complete shit show, and not Merrick Garland, that was the guy that didn't get appointed. I forget who the other, Mick something. If he gets to appoint a third justice, that's heavily tilting the Supreme Court. And what other people are saying, of course, is that in the context of this election already being contested before it's even happened, we need to have a full Supreme Court in place in order to rule on how this election is going to be, perpetrated, like how it's going to actually play out, considering the state and local level, election committees, mail-in ballots, the vote counting, all this endless trash. It's just going to be so awful. Like, if you thought it was already awful, it's like that times like 1,000, because now we're going to live in a seemingly lawless hellscape of just propaganda and disinformation. And in theory, like back in the 2000 election, Google it, kids, Florida hanging chads, the courts ended up having to rule that, like, the vote count was done. If I remember correctly. They were like, yeah, it's done. We're done. We're done counting votes. It's over. Bush won. People still say Bush stole the election due to that, was it an intervention by the court, or just people disagree with the ruling? So if we have a Supreme Court that has missing one seat, it has 8 votes, well, then you get a split decision. If you get 4 and 4 on a ruling of something like an accurate vote count, or delaying the Electoral College by some amount of time in order to finish the vote tallying, and tallying all the votes by mail leads to all kinds of other problems. So this Ruth Bader Ginsburg picked a really, really basically perfect time to kick off if you wanted to really throw a monkey wrench into this election. It's, you know, like at first I just thought, oh, well, she died, that's sad. We're going to move on and we're going to fight over the, you know, appointment like we did with Kavanaugh. But oh no, it's, there's just more layers to it than I thought. And this is one of these things that, because of these, at least because of these excuses, call it excuses, these potentialities of a sort of failing of the court and a failing of the election process, you're going to be demanded to pay attention. Like, you're not going to not be able to pay attention. The activist types, left wing and right wing, pundits and everything, are going to hype the absolute shit out of all of these hearings. Whoever this poor bastard is that they find to nominate is going to get raked over the coals like crazy. Worse than Kavanaugh, if you can imagine. Kavanaugh, if you recall, they basically accused him of being a gang rapist when he was a teenager, with absolutely no corroboration. It was really something to watch. Claims from 30 plus years in the past, basically, and with no real evidence, and just claims, and like these attempted character assassinations and all kinds of just, it was just insane. Angry mobs of people like attacking the Senate building and stuff. It was just like, what the hell is going on? So yeah, we're gonna fight about that for at least a month, I guess, because the Republicans are gonna try to ramrod a nominee through, like, very quickly through the Senate, and the public freak out by various liberals is going to probably be absolutely insane. And you already had people talking about besieging the White House, like, all the way until the election, just constant, basically rioting. You can call it peaceful protest, but the peaceful protest will devolve into rioting with a fair amount of regularity, let's say. And so you'll have both. There will be peaceful protesting. Some of it might be very creative and clever, actually. Go. But I wonder if the enthusiasm is actually still there. If the enthusiasm is still there, maybe they can keep that energy up. But now with the RBG, and remember, guys, it's RBG, not RGB. RGB is a type of, like, cathode ray monitor that doesn't exist anymore. RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. This just adds fuel to the fire, puts gas in the tank, if you will, or if you won't, I don't know. Why are you wearing a mask outside? swear, you don't need to wear a mask outside, right? Didn't we cover this? You're like in the sunshine and like the UV kills the thing. Anyways, maybe I'm wrong. Not like anybody can figure all this stuff out anymore anyway. What else? Ruth Bader Ginsburg stuff. Oh, that Jake Gardner story, which is just tragic, and that's also another problem. It's not just a story. So the story is, guy was in Omaha, I believe, owned a bar. Rioters came around, and his dad confronted them, and then they attacked his dad, so he came out to stop them from attacking his dad. Then they attacked him, and then he shot one of them and I believe killed him. And then they wanted to charge him with murder, even though there's like video showing that it was self-defense. So I'm giving you a brief rundown. So he apparently, this is what's being reported, is he committed suicide at 38 years old, former Marine, due to being harassed and threatened. His landlord, I guess, pulled his lease for this activity, over this activity that he took to defend his business from rioters. And yeah, so the idea that he was being attacked, like the guy put him in a chokehold from behind, and he shot the guy that was like on his back, like on him, choking him. He shot him. I would call it a clear-cut case of self-defense. And I'm basically just stepping on Tim Pool's material at this point. I mean, he's kind of covered this where I really heard about this first. They have it over at like Gateway Pundit and stuff. But yeah, charging, and they did this to the McCluskeys in Louisville. You come out to defend your property, you brandish a weapon or whatever, and then they arrest you instead of the violent rioters that caused you to have to defend yourself in the first place. And they're doing this with Kyle Rittenhouse and the Kenosha, Wisconsin shooting. There's factors to weigh, there's evidence, but there's video, and there's, your right to self-defense, your right to bear arms. But if you're not allowed to bear your arms and use them when necessary, then you don't really have a right to bear arms if you're going to be ruined by either the court of public opinion, ruined in the media, death threats, harassment, your life canceled for defending your own life or the life of somebody else. Then you don't really have a Second Amendment right. You have it in the most literal sense. You are allowed to stop someone from maybe killing you, but then you have your life ruined as a result of, call it being attacked. And that de facto means you don't have a Second Amendment right. And this is another one of those. This is one of those, it is a cultural issue that we are allowing this to go on, right? It's a cultural issue that we are so alarmist, we're so misled by the media, or the media are allowed to portray things a certain way that maybe isn't true. People are so demonizing of gun owners that they just assume that the gun owner was at fault. I don't know. It's a variety. It's a complex problem. Not a clear solution, especially not with this sort of fear-based society that we find ourselves in. It's all fear and paranoia and suspicion. So, well, that's enough from me for a Tuesday, I think. Day 199. Well, let's do day 200 tomorrow. All right, bye.